All right, welcome back. We are live here in Yazoo City. It's Yazoo County and Yazoo City. It's Yazoo City. We're playing here on this Friday night after a couple of home games in a row. The Gators have a bye week next week and would like to get a win going into the bye as the Gators take on the Yazoo City Indians. They are 1-3 on the season, and they lost to Humphreys County, Greenwood, and then St. Patrick. Their only victory was over St. Patrick, but they lost to Yazoo City, Greenwood, and Humphreys County. Glad you can join us here as we get ready to hit the road and then the bye week. Charles Edmond with head coach Chris Lacey. Coach, tough loss last week. Got to pick it up and try to get a win before we head into the open date.
Yeah, again, I mean, we ended up in the loss category, but I think actually the second half was our best half we played all year, just from a excitement standpoint, or adversity standpoint, or guys leaning on each other, being better teammates. Like I saw what I wanted to see in the second half, and my message to them after the game was, let's just try to put this together for four.
Well, what you didn't want to see, and what no one wants to see, is a serious injury. And obviously, Terry with a serious injury to their player, Titus Henderson, worn number 7. Even after the game, on social media, people wondering, how he turned. Is he okay? And then, it's 7 days after the fact. And I think I texted you the next day to see how things, because people were asking me about it. I'm sure you kept in contact with Terry's coaching officials. How did that go?
He was okay. I got word that I think he went to the hospital and they ended up like bringing him back, with his mom. I think he just ended up getting knocked out. It wasn't like a nerve thing or anything, but he was just out cold. And once he came back to and the doctor saw that he was good to go, they ended up getting him with his mom. But he ended up going to the doctor the next day and getting, checked out and stuff. So coach said he was okay.
So even though it looked serious, not a lot of movement, and it was quiet in the stadium. Right. It looked serious, as it turns out, and it's a good thing that it wasn't as serious as it looked.
Yeah, it looked serious when it happened. I even walked out there to, just kind of check on him and see. But it was good to see everybody, praying for the kid and, showing respect and letting the paramedics and the coaches and the trainers and everybody do their job to get him back, where he needed to be to get him off the field and be healthy.
Well, that was in the fourth quarter. What was the message to your team in a situation like that? Because it took a lot of oxygen out of the stadium. Y'all were making a comeback. So it was a lot of emotions and stuff in the bag dealing with that.
Once, the kid was okay, you just getting back to the guys and telling them, look, we got to refocus and, pray that everything will be okay with him. But we still got a football game to, finish off. So, let's just go ahead and do it.
Well, trying to do it, trying to get it done. You saw some good things late, but then getting off to better starts.
Well, like I said, we got a young team. They growing up every week, and that's what you want, especially before you get into district play. So, when Coach Todd was here, he used to always speak about having 3 seasons. And he used to always speak about how you have non-district, district, and then the playoffs. So every season is its own deal, and, we trying to work out the kinks through the non-district schedule. And like I say, Friday, when that second half hit, I think a light bulb came on for them. I like to think that it did. And they just started to play their butts off. They started to play hard. I think it was, if I recall, it was 28-0 at halftime. So to come out and get a shutout, in the second half and then end up putting up the majority of the yards we probably had the whole game in the second half was amazing. Even if we almost had an opportunity to score again on the third drive, if we don't bump into each other on the pass, I think the Corps gets the first down and we in the red zone. So it could have knocked it to 21-28. So,
yeah, that's just a tough thing. If you could play the second half in a situation where you get up to a better start, then you probably have a chance to win the football game. But what's the key to getting off to with this group? And you talked about all the new pieces. What's the key to getting off to a fast start?
I think us as coaches have to do a better job of, and me specifically because I'm at the top, just doing a better job of finding a way to get them to start out faster. And that might be, taking a chance early or, just getting the ball in somebody's hands to create a spark, trick play, whatever it might be, just doing something to kind of like not lullaby them to sleep and just get them, get them going early. I guess playing the fourth quarter game in the first half.
Yeah. We're talking with Vicksburg High coach Chris Lacey as we get ready for Yazoo City. Coach, 2 takeaways on defense, and I know you're happy with that. You pleased with your defense in terms of just how they were able to hang in? Yes, slow starts, but then we find a way to get stops. We find a way to get off the field and give ourselves a chance.
Well, I'm very pleased. They actually exceeding my expectations for what I thought they would do this season, more so with the youth and the fact that, you lose DeMarcus, you lose Tyler Carter, Caleb Bryant, those guys not here no more. It's going to be a learning curve, but I feel like we still playing hard defense. If you subtract some deep balls and busted coverages in this game, I guess 2 block punts, you subtract those, they sitting at 14 points that they actually truly gave up themselves, which is great defense. So we got to help them out in other phases, and then once we get the offense rolling, I think it'll help the defense more.
What going into this season with all the pieces that you lost on defense, what were your expectations for this defense? Knowing everything that was lost, did you expect the same dominance with the guys coming in behind, or you just felt like there's a growing curve or learning curve with that? What were your expectations going into 2024 with this defense?
Well, realistically, when you lose Corey Vample and Mikey leaves, you have to plug in people in certain spots in the secondary. So I got sophomores out there who have given up some big balls and stuff like that. But we play good run defense. I mean, I'm pleased with the way we play good run defense. And the standard is the standard. Like I always say, we play pretty good defense at Vicksburg the past 5 years. And the standard is the standard. So, my expectation was to, have fun and get out there and run around. All the other little coaching things that go on with football, just let me handle those. I mean, I know y'all going to make minor technical issues, but as far as like just the bread and butter, what our defense is built off of, they've been doing a tremendous job of doing that.
It was a slow start, as you talked about. We had the one big run that Blackmore had to get us out of the hole, and then that drive stalled at midfield. That was a big point there, and it was hard for us to get big chunks of yards after that. We eventually did in the second half, but couldn't really follow up on things after a 46-yard run.
I think we just got to, when we get in certain position, we have to get a little bit more creative. We have to get a little bit more pace about ourselves. And again, that falls back on me getting that accomplished. The kids are playing hard. I look at the film and I can't walk in the field and say they not playing hard. Us as coaches, we just got to do a better job of helping them out.
Well, I know we know Gator fans love winning football. And so people are wondering what's going on. What is it going to take? What would you tell Gator fans? We got Yazoo City, got a bye week, and then we kind of get in the district. What would you tell Gator fans right now, kind of a month into the season?
Keep sitting in the stands and supporting these kids. Football is a game of life. Right now they facing a little adversity. We facing a little adversity. I mean, the fans facing a little adversity. And what we have to do is like I told the kids the other day, nobody who's been successful didn't go through a point of failure, and we have to embrace that failure and let that be the gasoline to get us to the success that we want. So my message to the fans would be just continue to support the kids. We know we got talent, we just all have to come together as a family and push these kids in the right direction to do what we need to do to win games.
And a part of that is special teams, and those special teams was a factor. How hard and what adjustments we got to do to clean up special teams?
Well, I mean, last year, most of my special teams was my starting defense. So when you lose, like I say, certain people, you have to get other guys involved and new people in new spots and just doing what you coach to do. One thing I've found out in football nowadays, I guess high school, is just in general, like people don't view special teams as a third phase of the game. So you might have some kids sometimes who think, well, just because I'm on kickoff, that isn't me truly contributing to what's going on. But in all actuality, it's one of the most important parts of the whole game because it's the battle of field position, So just trying to get young kids to understand the value in special teams when it's not so popularized or whatever is a challenge. Just like being offensive lineman and, they're never in the newspaper, but it's the most important position on the football team. So just trying to connect that with these kids has been a fun challenge, to try to do that.
Trying to clean that up. And speaking of linemen, Willie Edmonds, no relationship, by the way. It was kind of went down a little bit. Talk about his status going forward.
Will is a warrior, man. He was going both ways Friday night, and he had an injury on the sideline that kind of hurt his shoulder, but he's been day-to-day with, his treatment, rehab. He's still practicing like a warrior. He don't want to come off the field, but we just been monitoring to make sure he's healthy enough to be able to play football.
Will he be able to play tonight?
I'm assuming, he should be. It's going to be a game time thing, so we'll just figure it out.
Moments away from kickoff. We'll see if he can go. And you were talking about linemen and playing a lot of people. You got guys like the Corey Knight playing both ways. Have you been in a situation where you've had a team in which you've had quite a few people play both ways?
Not since I've been at Vicksburg. We haven't. We had a pretty decent group of kids that you could kind of just say, this is my 11, this is my 11. But, in the situation we're in now, we're so young, we have to get some veterans on the field who've had time playing. And I mean, the Corey, he's a great athlete. He's played some defensive back, in the middle school and 7-on-7 and things of that nature. So, and he's like a backup anyway. So we cross-train them all to be able to go both ways. So just having more guys who've had playing time, just being under the lights on the field has, I think, helped us out a lot.
How would you assess the Corey's play on that side of the ball?
Oh, man, he did his job. I mean, he's a football player, man. He knows what he's doing. Very smart kid. He is a good leader. So, and he takes time to learn. He watches the film. He's aware of what's going on out there. So that's what you kind of want in a kid.
Well, he's an athlete, so he's gonna make plays no matter where
No
matter where you put him. All right, let's take a look at the Yazoo City Indians. Coach 1-3. They beat St. Patrick 48-7. Losses to Humphreys, County, Greenwood, and Yazoo City. What do you see in this team?
Athletic, just the same as last year. I mean, right now, off the top of my head, they got 4 guys: number 1, number 3, number 6, number 70, and number 9 number 9 who go both ways, and they all are tremendous athletes. I think if number 1 could, any coaches or anybody watching this, number 1 and number 3 from Yazoo are, to me, Division I football players, and you should see them on the next level one day. So it's gonna be a challenge trying to. I don't think we've played against these athletes yet. No matter who we've played, we haven't seen this group. So it's a challenge in itself. I don't look at the record and say because they haven't been blowout losses. Like they've been 2 touchdown, 1 touchdown games. So Friday night will be their night if we don't go out there and do what we're supposed to do with the talent that they have. So you just gotta take everybody like I said, it's Super Bowl, and I know they're gonna give us their best shot. So that's what I'm expecting.
Well, you've talked about the schedule and these teams that we're playing. There's talent in every team that we're playing. It's not like the records may show one thing, but you look at, like you say, you don't look at the records. You look at the individual talent. There's a lot of talent.
Oh, man. I mean, you play, Red Carbo against Holmes County, who's, 3-1. You play Natchez, who's 3-1. You play Terry, who's 4-0. And then you play Yazoo, who's 1-3. That's, in my opinion, a gauntlet of teams that, and Forest Hill, I mean, they competitive. They still doing their thing. So that's a gauntlet of teams who have nice athletes, and some of them who have better records than us, who just got to respect it, man. You're going to get what you're going to get. So some people look at, I guess what people mostly do is look at the teams or probably who they was 10 years ago and not pay attention to who you playing against now. So football's changing, man. So
football's changing. These teams are getting better, and obviously you have to pay attention to all the teams. Coach, I was looking outside the studio. There's like 3 words that kind of got me thinking about your team and how you would assess: hustle, execute, and grind. I think that's kind of this Vicksburg team. A lot of hustle, excellent at times, and just keep grinding away.
Yeah, man, we just gonna keep going. I mean, cliche, Rome wasn't built in a day, and I tell the kids all the time, we're built to do what we need to do. We built to sustain. What we have to do is kind of like just dust off some of the old pictures and see where you come from, and take that pride back into the field. Like I said, I got a new team, different variables. Every year is a different variable. You got to clean up this spot or that spot. It's just finding a solution to be, how you going to do it.
Well, a bye week is next week.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice to get a win. take that into a bye week and fix some things, and as you get ready for that stretch?
What district play, I sometimes I try not to look so far ahead, but you can't help but to see it. Our first district games are our probably toughest two that we had last year, and they got us picked third in the district, media to play. So those are two games that's gonna, give us an opportunity to try to get in first place. So it's there, but for the most part we gotta get a win. So I guess we're more focused on tonight's game against Yazoo and how we're going to approach them.
How was the week of work like, considering we had 2 in a row at home, couldn't quite get through, but now we're on the road?
I mean, you like to travel sometimes because it gives the kids the opportunity to see other places. That's one. Number two, shout out to our 8th grade and our 9th grade because we had 2 big wins with them. So I know, and that's the one thing I look at too is like, our program is where it needs to be. When you got your feeder programs who are still winning, that the talent is coming up to you. So I'm not one to say just because we bad at the high school, the program is bad. No, Vicksburg Gators are good. We just have to reassess ourselves up here at the varsity level to get where we need to get. But we playing some good football around here, man. We just gonna keep on doing it.
Well, the 8th and 9th graders are winning, and the Gators will try to get a win here tonight against Yazoo City up here in the Delta before a bye week. Coach, we appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll take a timeout here. When we come back, starting lineups, play-by-play, coming up after this from Yazoo City.